is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Tuesday morning. We're coming off the Elimination Chamber. We're coming off the launch of the WWE Network. And we're coming off one of the most anticipated Monday Night Raws in recent memory. February 24th, 2013, live. Last night from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, so much happened on this show that I really don't even know where to begin. With this show. So I'm going to run down from the top of the hour at 8 o'clock all the way to the closing segments with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. I'll give you my opinion on everything. But the big things I want to talk about, mainly, we've finally seen WrestleMania 30 taking shape. And the big thing coming out of Monday Night Raw last night was not The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. This was already predetermined. It was set in stone. We knew it was going to happen last night on Monday Night Raw. We knew Hogan was going to be there talking about his role at WrestleMania 30 being the host, just like The Rock was. We knew he was going to talk about the WWE Network. We knew the launch was going to be heavily promoted. But we did not know John Cena was going to get hurt last night. Now, everybody is wondering, is John Cena hurt? What is his status going to be for WrestleMania? What kind of injury does he have? I'm here to report to you guys first, right here on YouTube, John Cena is not injured. John Cena is not injured. John Cena will be at WrestleMania 30. John Cena will be in a match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. News this morning broke that John Cena is doing an injury angle with Bray Wyatt. Now, the reasons for that, I actually got the news article right in front of me from lordsofpain.net. Now, they show a photo of John Cena's knee. And they report, multiple sources have confirmed that John Cena's knee injury at Monday Night Raw last night was part of an angle with the Wyatt family. The angle was done to play into Cena's match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30 and also explain to you why Cena did not run out later during Bray Wyatt's match against Roman Reigns. There is still a lot of speculation among fans right now that Cena is really injured, especially after the photo shown last night surfacing on the internet of John Cena's kneecap that was passed around social media, Facebook, Twitter. It was going crazy last night. I was even wondering on Twitter, I even asked you guys, Cena looked hurt. Cena is a fucking hell of an actor. Now, I was either thinking Eric Rowan fucked up real bad, or John Cena is an incredible fucking actor at what he's doing right now. And you got to give credit to Bray Wyatt, because at the time it was going down, Bray Wyatt actually had the sense of mind to hold his guys back. That's why I thought it was a real thing. You know, Bray Wyatt just had a whole demeanor change in the ring. I've been watching him very carefully ever since he's come into the WWE. Last night, I legitimately thought John Cena was hurt. But as of right now, you're hearing it first. It is an injury angle. It will play all into the role of Bray Wyatt's match with John Cena at WrestleMania. Now, we're beginning this angle with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. I'm going to tell you I'm excited for this match simply because of Bray Wyatt's work. I think Bray Wyatt is going to be the one to carry the majority of the workload going into WrestleMania 30 for this match with John Cena. Now, I've been on record to say John Cena is not bad at what he does. I don't like Cena's character. I've never liked John Cena as a performer. Okay? I think he's very stale. I think he can use a slight upgrade or a slight overhaul with his John Cena character. I think it's run its course. It reminds me too much of Hulk Hogan back in the 80s when I was growing up. I'm a 30-year-old man. I don't want to see Super Cena overcome all odds. It just suspends belief. I don't like seeing that, and that's the reason why I don't like John Cena. But you have to respect his mind for the business, and you would respect him more if you listened to him with Steve Austin on his podcast. He sat down with Steve Austin, talked about the business, talks about why he does what he does and why he's still wrestling right now, and he's talking about the future of the business and where he wants to see the business. You sit down and listen to this interview, John Cena cares about the product. John Cena knows what he has to do inside and outside the ring. John Cena can handle his own in the ring, but I do think Bray Wyatt is going to take this feud to the level that we want to see. Bray Wyatt's work has been absolutely phenomenal. He writes his own promos. His promo work last night saying that there is an infection in the world, and the infection indeed is the human race. and that John Cena is your so-called white knight, your hero, your white knight in shining armor. Where is he going to be when Bray Wyatt has his way with him? What's going to happen? I like this feud. When it was first announced, I didn't care for it at all. I didn't think this was going to be a WrestleMania-worthy match. The one thing I am here to tell you right now is John Cena and Bray Wyatt are going to have a hell of a fucking match at WrestleMania. My best friend even texted me last night. Cena and Bray Wyatt may have the match of the year. Now, I didn't agree with him on that, being that we had Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan, which was out of this world. We had The Shield versus the Wyatt family. But it goes to show you a trend right now that's been happening in the first 2 months. Bray Wyatt has been a part of 2 of the best matches this year. You think Bray Wyatt's not going to come to WrestleMania prepared? You think Bray Wyatt's not going to walk into New Orleans at WrestleMania 30, his first WrestleMania, and not be prepared to go against John Cena, the face of the WWE for the last 11 years? Come on now. Bray Wyatt's going to take this match and this feud to the next level with his promo work. His interactions and him playing off John Cena are going to be something that we're going to be remembering for the rest of the year. I firmly believe this. And with his injury angle, it may set up this feud for the next 6 weeks. Now, I didn't know, and I was kind of concerned about what they were going to do with John Cena and Bray Wyatt for the next 6 weeks. How do you do this? You're going to have John Cena run the gauntlet and run through Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, But how are they going to manage this? Now, obviously, with this injury angle, it may give them some weeks to plan ahead and fill the 6 weeks before we have to get into WrestleMania. But all in all, great segment with Bray Wyatt. It had everybody talking. The promo work between these two, Bray Wyatt and John Cena, are going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to this match as of right now. Obviously, my feelings may change as we get closer to WrestleMania, but right now, the work that they did last night was great. Top-notch stuff last night on Monday Night Raw. The other thing I want to talk about, and obviously I've been very vocal about this, Batista and Randy Orton. Batista fought Del Rio last night again, and I don't know why we had to be subjected to that after we had to see it on pay-per-view last night, but last night Del Rio got the cheap win because Batista was distracted by Randy Orton's music, and then obviously Randy Orton comes out, starts talking shit to Batista, and then Batista gets on the microphone and says that, get ready for a new WWE champion. It's coming, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. I honestly sit there last night, and I know everyone listening to me can agree with me. I don't understand how you guys can get excited for this feud. There's got to be maybe 1 or 2 guys sprinkled into the large crowd who just don't want to see this match that actually do want to see this match. 1 or 2 of you. I know there's a few clowns in the comment section telling me, oh, this makes sense. It's supposed to be Batista versus Randy Orton because they're Triple H's friends. What else did you expect at WrestleMania 30? I mean, are you fucking out of your mind? Where does any of this tie in to Triple H besides that they're good friends with Triple H right now? Outside the ring. This doesn't make any sense at all. What made sense and what I wanted to see as the main event for WrestleMania was Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble, John Cena win the WWE Championship, and we have a passing of the torch at WrestleMania. That's what I wanted to see at WrestleMania. Obviously, I wanted to see Sting versus The Undertaker. Obviously, I wanted to see Shawn Michaels in some capacity at WrestleMania versus Triple H. Obviously, the WrestleMania that I wanted is not going to happen. It's not even close to what's happening. But Batista versus Randy Orton, this does not speak to me as a WrestleMania 30 main event. It just does not. This will be the biggest flop I think I've ever seen at a WrestleMania 30 main event besides The Miz versus John Cena. I really believe this. How can you have 2 heels going at it, face-to-face, head-on, for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30? Nobody wants to see Batista. I'm sorry. The WWE rammed Batista down our throats so much since he came back on that January 20th Monday Night Raw that nobody wants to see him. Now, it's not Batista's fault, and I said this on my Elimination Chamber review. I do not blame Batista for this. This is WWE again and their poor booking decisions. They ran Batista down our throats to the point where nobody wants to see him now. People are not stupid. People know that he does not deserve a WWE Championship match. People know that he doesn't deserve a main event spot at WrestleMania. Batista is not a main event caliber wrestler anymore. He never was. The only thing that he did main event level was his work with Triple H, was his work with The Undertaker, and his work with John Cena, which I failed to mention The Undertaker in my Elimination Chamber review because this is what I did harp on in my Chamber review. His matches with The Undertaker were probably the best in his career, bar none. But Batista right now is not a main event level superstar. He's just not. This match cannot close WrestleMania. It cannot main event WrestleMania. I don't know what the WWE is doing right now, but it seems like they're going full steam ahead with this feud. But if they do intend to make this match happen at WrestleMania, if they don't intend on putting Daniel Bryan into the mix at the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, this match cannot close WrestleMania. I'm telling you right now. This match may be the stinker of the card. 10 minutes of Batista, this and that. Batista wins the world title. Give it to him already. I don't want to hear about him anymore. Okay? But as of right now, you can't have two heels going at it at WrestleMania. It just doesn't work. It's not going to work. The crowd's going to rip it apart. The crowd is going to be very vocal. If you think Pittsburgh and Minneapolis were vocal about the crowd reception at the Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble respectively, wait till you see 80,000 people who fly in from all over the world. You know, WrestleMania is the most rabid wrestling crowd that there is in a calendar year. You think 80,000 people are going to sit on their hands and sit watching this match without being very vocal about it? Give me a fucking break. This match is going to get ripped to shreds, and I actually can't wait to see what happens when it does. Because right now, the WWE really needs to realize, and they need to know from the fans who watch their product, that this is a mistake. But obviously, they're going ahead with this match. Just like they're going ahead with Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan beat Kane last night, got some sense of retribution. But he's lobbying for a match with Triple H because he knows Triple H is behind this. Like I said, Daniel Bryan's been running the gauntlet. He's been running around with the goons of the Authority, Kane, and he's been screwed by Randy Orton, who was the face of the WWE according to the Authority, but they don't seem to have much faith in him anymore. But Daniel Bryan has been put through hell and high water with the Authority, and now he finally got his retribution for Kane fucking him at the Elimination Chamber, and now he wants to go for the main guy who's been behind all of this. It's Triple H, and it makes sense. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H makes sense at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H makes sense at WrestleMania because pretty much Triple H has been fucking Daniel Bryan for the last 8 months. It needs to happen. It needs to have some kind of conclusion. So Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania does make sense. If that match does indeed happen and go down at WrestleMania, either that needs to be the main event or Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker needs to be the main event. But right now, one thing from Monday Night Raw, WrestleMania is taking shape. You have Orton versus Batista. You have Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, more than likely going to happen, with some kind of stipulation, I hope, to come out of this. Whether Daniel Bryan beats Triple H, gets a future title shot at the next pay-per-view, or gets a title shot whenever he wants and cashes in at WrestleMania on Batista and sends the crowd home happy. That's the only way I would end Batista, Randy Orton in the main event. If Daniel Bryan gets a title shot whenever he wants, he comes out, beats the world champion, and sends everyone home happy, 80,000 strong, doing the yes chant at WrestleMania in New Orleans. That's the only way I would make Batista versus Randy Orton the main event. But we have Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, more than likely taking place. We have Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, and The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar after last night. Those are the big four matches that they got planned right now for WrestleMania. Really, to me, WrestleMania seems very underwhelming by what we see right now. It's all going to come down to how the guys and how the people in these angles and storylines work at those storylines and angles. I know Bray Wyatt's going to bring everything he's got. I know John Cena doesn't really flake at WrestleMania. He always gives 150%. Obviously, Undertaker and Lesnar is going to be fucking epic. Batista versus Orton is going to be trash. And Daniel Bryan getting finally retribution on the Authority and defeating Triple H at WrestleMania. That's going to be great. But right now, it seems very underwhelming to me. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, a couple of things left, guys. The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Now, I like the way this went down. I was a little worried. Last night watching Monday Night Raw how they were going to tie in Brock Lesnar to The Undertaker. Obviously, the WWE did a good job of telling the story through Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar wanted his number one contender match. He still believes he is the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Actually, he wanted his world title match. He was already number one contender. Paul Heyman tied up a lot of loose ends last night, which I was happy about. He mentioned the Authority not giving Brock Lesnar what he wanted in a satisfactory way to just calm Brock Lesnar down. The Authority in the storyline that Paul Heyman told last night without getting a WWE Championship match, Triple H and the Authority gave Brock Lesnar an open contract to fight whoever he wants at WrestleMania. They're giving him a headline match at WrestleMania, whoever he wants. All right, I knew this was going to be The Undertaker. This has been reported for the last couple of weeks. It's been, in the works for the last couple of years. So we knew this was going to go down. Obviously, Paul Heyman was talking about, Brock Lesnar's accomplishments. He was the youngest WWE champion of all time. He stepped into the octagon and won the UFC World Heavyweight Championship. He was, back in his college days, he was, this and that. Just pretty much listing all his accolades. And obviously, through all that, Paul Heyman says Brock Lesnar wants to conquer everything that he does. WWE Championships, collegiate accolades, UFC. Come WrestleMania, he wants to conquer the WWE and conquer WrestleMania. Obviously, he knew The Undertaker was going to come out. We hear the gong. The Undertaker's entrance, one of the greatest entrances of all time. Anytime The Undertaker steps through the curtain and you're doing something, you stop what you're doing and you just watch. That's the attention The Undertaker, pretty much demands every time. It's an awe-inspiring moment. Even as a wrestling fan in my early 30s, every time you see The Undertaker walk through the curtain, it's one of those things where you just stop what you're doing and you just watch. Now, obviously, this match is going to be off the charts great. I'm looking forward to this. If Daniel Bryan is not factored into the WWE Championship match at some point at WrestleMania, whether he beats Triple H and then gets a shot later that night, or he's in a triple threat match with Batista and Orton, that's the only way that should close the main event. If not, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker needs to close WrestleMania 30, no question. I don't want to hear it. If not, Triple H is a complete fool. I don't care who's running the show backstage, Triple H, Stephanie, Vince, this one, that one. Undertaker vs. Brock Lesnar needs to close out the main event if Daniel Bryan is not going to be a part of any WWE Championship plans right now. Plain and simple. This match has got epic written all over it. Brock Lesnar, as per reports, is going to be working with The Undertaker for about a half a week. Undertaker usually demands his opponents to go down to Texas, where The Undertaker's from, and work strategically on their matches. Because obviously The Undertaker's match needs to be 5 stars. No question, every WrestleMania. That's the kind of fucking level The Undertaker is at right now, even in his late 40s. So Brock Lesnar is going to work with The Undertaker. This match is going to be something special. Now, I did mention on my Off the Script, if you guys missed my Off the Script and Behind the Mic, links are down below. Off the Script is my news and rumors. When you talk about The Undertaker at WrestleMania, obviously we know The Undertaker is always going to walk away with a victory. Obviously. If not, the fucking WWE may have their corporate headquarters burned down the next morning. But when you're watching The Undertaker in a match at WrestleMania, obviously we know he's going to win. But the one thing I want coming out of WrestleMania and the lead building into WrestleMania as far as The Undertaker goes, I want to sit on my couch, watching this all unfold with a sense of belief that The Undertaker's streak may be in jeopardy. I want to believe that Brock Lesnar has a legit shot at beating the streak, even though we know he's going to lose. So that's all I want coming out of this match, and I think Brock Lesnar is the right guy. I think Brock Lesnar is the key to this. Brock Lesnar's, even after last night, the contract was signed with his blood. That's what happened last night. Undertaker stabbed the fucking pen into, actually had a pen stabbed into his wrist by the Undertaker. But obviously, then he was chokeslammed through the table. Now, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Brock Lesnar looked like shit last night. He got worn up by the Undertaker." Listen, this is Brock Lesnar. You think Brock Lesnar is not going to come back and retaliate and be a fucking monster leading into WrestleMania? I'm not concerned. It was nice to see. It was nice to see the stare down between these two. Now, the one thing I did worry about, and I mentioned this on Twitter, the Undertaker looks old. The Undertaker looks old. A lot of you guys, said that he looked fine for what he was. I like the whole devilish beard he's got going on. I still don't like the bald head. I can't get over the bald head of the Undertaker. I really can't. But this match is going to be something special, guys. It's going to be the one match that everyone should be paying attention to. Undertaker's matches generally garner that kind of attention. It's usually the match of the night. I expect nothing less from this. I look forward to seeing this feud build towards WrestleMania. It's going to be absolutely exciting to see because I love Brock Lesnar. I love The Undertaker. Two of my favorite guys going at it at WrestleMania. Definitely going to be something to witness this year on the road to WrestleMania. But other than that, guys, WrestleMania is all laid out. And there's one other thing that bothered me last night. Bray Wyatt fought Roman Reigns. You seen more potential teasing of a Shield breakup. But the crowd in Green Bay, I don't know what the fuck was going on. It was a complete opposite reaction of what happened in Minneapolis at the Elimination Chamber. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns had the crowd shit all over them. They were chanting Randy Savage, and they were chanting some other bullshit. Michael Cole, I believe they were chanting. This is not really the kind of reaction I want to see when Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, two of the future pieces of the WWE, get into the ring together. It's not something I want to see. I was very upset and aggravated by listening to that chant last night. That's not what they deserved, especially after giving, probably the match of the year at the Elimination Chamber. And then obviously Cesaro versus Big E, that was a decent match. You see the split between the Real Americans. Maybe it's going to be Cesaro versus Jack Swagger at WrestleMania. I don't know, but like I said before, concerning Cesaro, he's a beast. He's going to be a major player in the WWE in 2014. I would rather not see them break up right now. I would rather them be a beast tag team, and just work together. Maybe get a tag team title reign before they actually, do the split up. But apparently they're going ahead with Cesaro turning face and Jack Swagger being the heel. Now, where does that leave Zeb Coulter? Which side does he choose? I don't know, but it's going to be fun to see the evolution of Antonio Cesaro, throughout the year 2014 on WWE TV. But other than that, guys, Monday Night Raw last night, I really expected a steaming hot show. I mean, it was a good show for what it was. We got the groundwork laid for WrestleMania, but it just didn't get to that next level for some reason. Even with Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, and Hogan there, and the injury angle with John Cena that everybody's talking about, it just didn't seem to get to that next level. I expected this incredible explosion of a show, but it kind of maintained, a moderate temperature for some reason. I don't know why. It never got to that next level. But next week, I think the roof is going to be blown off the Monday Night Raw arena, whatever the name of the arena is. Why? Because they're going to Chicago. They're going to be in Chicago next week. Obviously, talk of CM Punk is going to be running rampant next week on Monday Night Raw. It's going to be incredible to see. Chicago's crowds are always die hard. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the Chicago crowd treats the WWE once they go live on USA at 8 o'clock. It's going to be unbelievable. Will there be a sighting of CM Punk? What is the Chicago crowd going to be vocal about during Monday Night Raw? How grateful are they going to be to the WWE about this whole CM Punk situation? We'll find that next week on Monday Night Raw, guys. Thank you for joining me for this review. News and rumors. Off the script. If you guys missed that, link is down below. Behind the mic down below. My Elimination Chamber review down below. And obviously, I will be back with Off the Script on Saturday morning, guys. Take care, and I will see you then on Saturday for Off the Script. I'll talk to you guys soon.